So with today's budget, I chose to get something a bit new, which is the Tin of the Pharaoh's Gods. Now, do note this tin is opened already. I've looked through the stuff. I'll explain why after I've shown all the cards, because there is a reason for it. It's a silly reason, but there is a reason for it, so I'll get into the opening. So, sorry that the packs look horrible, but, you know. So, pack number one. We have Despian Tragedy, I can't speak today, the Fabled Abinak, Converging Will's Dragon, Tri-Brigade Rendezvous, a Parametalphos Arazotulus, I don't know how to pronounce it, a Masquerade the Blazing Dragon, that is very good, really good. This is probably better than Proskinion, just 100%. High Ritual Art, very cool card. I actually like this card. Stardust Synchron. This is pretty cool. Contract with the Abyss and Diviner of the Herald, which, can I just say on a side note, just looks generally amazing for a prismatic secret rare. Also very good card. We also have Laundry Trap, Magic Duo, Zora, the Magister's Confronting Calamity, Magic Dragon, Aaron a Wind Monster, Ice Jade Acti, Aero Pix 3, Gunkan Suship Shahori, and Gunkan Suship Uni-Class Super Dreadnought. That's the first pack. I'll put the commons here. Well, just all the cards that you don't really need. Pack number two. We have a Sun Avalon Melius, Boojin Candescence, Armed Dragon Thunder level 5. Side note, I love the Armed Dragon Thunder monsters. I don't know why. I just think they're neat. Fabled Maricosia, Psychic Eraser Laser. Okay card, but just generally pretty easy to stop. Armed Dragon Thunder level 3. Ice Jade Tamora. If we were still on Ice Barrier, this would be a cool pickup. Magical Cylinders. Dark Eye Nightmare. What does this do? If this card would be destroyed by battle, you can banish one trap from your graveyard. Instead, you banish up to 3 traps from your graveyard. Apply this effect based on the number banished. 1, draw 1, then place 1 on the top of your deck. 2, draw 1 card. 3, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Cool card, not gonna lie. This is a card I want to talk about, which is funny. This is a Dark Ruler No Morph. This is the misprinted Dark Ruler No More with the F instead of the E at the end, which is, it's pretty funny. I don't know how rare this is, but I know it's pretty rare. And a Prismatic Aluba, the Jester of Despia. I don't know if you can see that well, but this is an amazing looking Prismatic secret rare. Probably going in the deck as well. This is a good pull. We have a fusion of 2 field spells, a B-Trooper Assault Roller, a Link Apple, cute card, but actually it's a decent effect. B-Trooper Landing, B-Trooper Squad, Magiki Mafta, and Steel Star Regulator. Actually, wait, I don't know what this card does. What does it do? 3 non-link monsters. Gains attack equal to the mana of levels and ranks of all monsters used for its link summon times 1000 times 100, not 1000. You can target one non-link monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card. Destroy it. Then if you ask with link summon using any monstrous material, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack. Cool. Oh, so it's a link monster for XC-based strategies. That is kind of cool. Final pack. We have a Fabled Andorif, Stay Sailor Romanian. If we ever put Predaplants in the deck, this is a good card. Aria the Sun Magician, Hidden Springs of the Far East, Armed Dragon Blitz, again, Armed Dragons, I like them. Boojin Candescence, Binary Blader, Fluandories and Stree, a nice rarity upgrade. Gaia Armor Dragon, Gaia Armor, Gaiamor Dragon Shell. Don't ask why it took me so long to say that. Okay card, but probably just a bit too high investment. The Revived Sky God for Slifer, the Sky Dragon here, and a Prismatic Secret Rare Pot of Prosperity. Why was I about to say Extravagance? Prosperity. This card looks amazing in Prismatic Secret Rare. I don't even want to touch it that much. Anyway, B Trooper Scout Buggy. I actually pulled the, a while back, I actually pulled the Secret Rare of this card. So, who knows, maybe I'll build B Troopers one day if it's ever good. Gunkan Suship Iraya Class Dreadnought. B Trooper Armorhorn, more B Troopers. Magic Locking. B Trooper Descent. Giant B Trooper Invincible Atlas. And a common Preskinion in case we want to downgrade rarities. But I think this might be an amazing tin. We got all three of the Prismatic Secret Rares were absolutely amazing. Masquerade's cool, and we got the misprint Dark Ruler No More, which I want to, just to make sure you can see that it is a Dark Ruler No More, you know, of course, my favourite card. So, I'm now going to explain. If you want to skip past this section, I'll put a timestamp here, probably, just to say when the end of this section is. But the reason that this tin was pre-opened was because, the simple reason, I was just out with a friend, and I just really wanted to open it. I knew I was going to put it on here, but I just really wanted to open it with them, and it ended up being insane. Like, I can't stop smiling thinking about how insane the tin was. Every card, well, not every card in it, but a lot of the cards in it are gonna, especially these 5, are gonna come in extremely useful. This is really expensive. Bizarrely, we might eventually cut this just because I could only probably get my hands on this one copy. And it might not be the most consistent thing in the world, but genuinely, I am so happy with this tin. It has a lot of sentimental value from the place that I bought it from, so I really want to include a lot of these cards in the deck, and a lot of them for later. So I'm going to go into a deck profile. Not much might change, but a lot will change as well. I'm going to have to look through all these common cards to, you know, see what's in here. This is a cool card. Who knows, maybe I could build B Troopers, but yeah, I hope you did enjoy the opening. I'll get into the deck profile now. I'll stop rambling on. And yeah, thank you for watching this section. On to the next one. Okay, deck profile, because a decent-ish amount has changed. I don't know. We're now playing 3 Alupas, including the wonderful Prismatic Secret Rare, and 3 Tragedy, because we did pull one of the commons of it. It increases our chance of getting to Alupa, which increases our chance of getting to Brand Fusion without having to lose cards. Now, we are still playing 2 Springans Kit. It is still an amazing normal summon. However, the fact that it costs you a card in hand makes it so Alupa is just better than Springans Kit, which is why I am only playing 2 of it. 1 more Courier, because we don't have as much need for it. Our boards are more high impact now. It is still extremely searchable, but we do still play it just in case, because it is currently needed. 2 Fallen Albaz, because it is absolutely necessary to play 2 Albaz. And that is it for the Albaz monster lineup for the branded part of the deck. I'm very happy with this. I'm surprised we managed to get here. Next, 3 branded Fusion, 1 branded Lost, and 1 branded Expulsion, and 1 Gold Sark to go along with it. 3 branded Fusion makes sense. I don't really need to explain it. 1 Lost, because we're not playing Albion the Branded Dragon anymore. So this card does become a lot worse. We cut it last episode as well. But it is still very good because it can search Springans Kit and Tribal Gate Mercuria, which are 2 very useful cards. Expulsion is the best trap. The other traps do recur advantage, but because we have Alupa, and the Tier Elements and so many ways to get to Branded Fusion, we don't need to recur that advantage as much as we used to. And Goldsark effectively searches Springman's Kit. Tier Elements engine. Fairly standard. 3 Shiren, 3 Huffiness, 3 Merly, 2 Sulak. Fairly standard, it's the exact same. It will stay the exact same. It is very powerful. I am not changing it. 1 Squamata, 1 Beast. Shadol engine, this is all I need. It's just a draw. Hedgehog would just clog it up more if I tried to get any other Shadols, because that's the only other Shadol that searches. 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and 3 Effect Veiler for generic hand traps. They're the only ones we own, which is why we're playing them. They're also lights, which are really good. I then am playing 1 Instant Fusion, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Call by the Grave, and the 1 of Pot of Prosperity. These 2 I explained last time, this I've explained in the past. So Prosby. The reason that I have this instead of Albion. Albion, yes, does dump a branded spell trap and recurs a lot of advantage. But Prosby allows us to select the exact card we need. And that is generally more useful. Also, I really want to flex it by putting it into the deck. So that's the main deck. Onto the extra deck. Not much has changed here. We got our lovely tokens. We, of course, have our double Mirror Jade, triple Albion, double Lubellion, 1 Titaniclad, and 1 Brigrand for all of our Albaz dragons. These 2 are just the best kind of other generic ones. These are the fusers, and we only really need 2 Mirror Jade because we can recur them. I am then playing, of course, the Winder and the Kid Kalos, necessary to play for the Tier Element engine, necessary to play for Shadols. That also meshes really well with Tier Element. We, of course, have these 2, the Starving Venom and Protoplant Dragon Stapelia. This is an honorary Albaz Dragon, and this is really good with Tier Elements, and is also an honorary Albaz Dragon. For the last fusion, Masquerade instead of Proskinion. Simply because with Proskinion we needed to mill a light, which is one of our hand traps, a dark, which is our Tier Element to fuse into it, and a Despia monster, which while is very much possible, it is quite luck-based. With this, we just need to mill a Despia monster, and afterwards, mill a Tier Element to make it. We can also just make it with other cards. It's really good generically. Yeah, I don't really need to explain too much why I'm playing it. It burns. It has a better effect than Proskinion, and it's easier to make, which is why I'm playing it instead. And 1 Dweller for emergency scenarios. So that is the extra deck. And finally, onto the side deck. 3 Medium with the Ice Barrier, because it is Dark Ruler No More for back row decks. 2 Dark Ruler No More and 1 Dark Ruler No Morph for combo decks. And that is, and 1 Red Reboot for trap decks. And that's all I'm playing for going second. When I'm going first, I have the 1 of Crackdown and the 1 of, sorry about that, the 1 of Crime. This comes up occasionally. This also does come up occasionally, and it's kind of decent. I could replace Crackdown with Meta Noise, but, you know. 3 Deep Barrier and 3 Appointed of the Red Lotus. Fairly standard. So I was started on it. I could replace Crackdown with Meta Noise, but the reason I like Crackdown more is it's more high impact, permanently removing that body from my opponent until they destroy it in battle or by card effect, rather than Meta Noise, which just Book of Moons it, which if they're playing Charlament themselves or a fusion deck or any deck that can basically get it into the graveyard again or use it on field, it really isn't that effective. Plus it doesn't negate anything, which is why I prefer Sulak. And that's the deck. I'm pretty happy with it. We got insanely lucky. I cannot complain at all. I'm gonna go straight into the games. I hope we do really, really well with this deck. This deck feels way more consistent. I feel like until like the ban list comes out, I could actually start like working on the side deck or something. Yeah, that is the deck. On to the games.
Once again, we are facing off against Kshatriya Law. This deck is becoming extremely popular online, and I honestly can't blame people. The deck is really, really cool as a control-based deck, banishing cards. We summon Shiren and we don't mill anything of interest except for a tragedy which searches Aluba. We normal Aluba, we go Branded Fusion to make Albion. We then can search a card with Branded Lost, adding the Mercuria for a piece of interaction. Fusion summoning Masquerade. I decide to negate this with Mercuria because I want to inflict more burn damage. This was a mistake. Them summoning a body was not much of a concern, and offered the Pot of Prosperity, they managed to find the field spell, which lets them add Fenrir, I believe that's called. They summon Tiara Laments Kshatriya Law, which I decide to Ghost Ogre, which probably wasn't the right move, considering then they can use Fenrir to out the Masquerade, but I use the Sulik to negate the Fenrir and make Dragostapelia. I feel like I was in a good position here. And then they summoned the level 4 Kshatriya Law. I'm not too familiar with the names right now, which we choose to negate. They then add back a Kshatriya Law. They normal summon a monster and make its level 7. Then they overlay into Big Eye, who I completely forgot existed. They steal Dragostapelia, summon back. I summon back Aluba, and that's all they can do battle wise. I normal Fallen of Albaz, which was probably a misplay here, but I make a Abyss Dweller, which they don't negate because they don't use the graveyard at all. They Sacred Sword of 7 stars, which is incredibly powerful in this strategy. They summon one from deck. They then can add a spell card. They add the one that can Monster Reborn. They banish the top 3 face down of our deck. I believe the banishes here were incredibly unfortunate. I think all of our branded fusions were banished. They make Diabolos the Mind Hacker, who's an extremely cool card, by the way. I generally really love that card. Yeah, I would really love to do something with Kshatriya Law. It's a very weird deck. I'm losing to it constantly here because our deck has an incredibly bad matchup with it right now. But if I could choose to do something with, like, I don't know, a sealed only with Kshatriya Law, I would love to. Even though it would be terrible because it would just be opening Darkwing Blast and Photon Hypernova constantly, but I'd have fun doing it. It'll be fun nonetheless. So we make Mirror Jade Pass, which is extremely bad, and I look at their hand and decide to get rid of the field spell. This was a mistake. They then normal a Kshatriya Law, banishing one from deck to make it level 7. We Mercuria to negate. They then can summon one from deck. They summon Fenrir. They use Fenrir in order to add Scareclaw Kshatriya Law, which they summon by banishing. They then can add back a Kshatriya Law. They make a Big Eye, who is extremely annoying in this matchup. It just steals everything. They then go into battle, and I believe they had close to game on board, and we were just in a not winning position. So overall, we didn't do too great. We only managed to win one singular game, but we were able overall to take that match. However, we did lose 2 matches, but I do feel it was generally because I played quite poorly during those matches. I made a lot of general mistakes. But I do feel the deck is improving slowly. I don't know fully in what direction to go for the deck because there isn't a ban list yet. I'll definitely make a big decision after the ban list. There are other projects that I want to kind of work out during this end section, but yeah, overall, Kshatriya Law is pretty good.